Fenton, CEO and co-founder. It is a blustery, maybe sunny day here in Rhode Island, but I've got a great guest, a small business owner, Shirley Moore. She owns Be More Interpreting, one of the leading interpreting firms in Rhode Island, and has been growing it over the last 5 years. And one of the things she's been able to do is go through that 10,000 small business program. We've talked about it before. It's a wildly interesting project. It is sponsored by Goldman Sachs. It's housed over at CCRI. Shirley, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, here you are, 5 years in business. How's business going?
It's going great. I mean, we have no complaints. The pandemic was great to us, which is an interesting sort of thing to say. I know that we're not in the majority group, but we've done great.
And, listen, it's kind of whoever could move quickly, who is nimble, who could be virtual. Those are the companies that seem to survive and prosper. You didn't need $20 an hour dishwashers. You didn't need to figure out how to staff places and then have to lay them off a week later. Talk about who you service and what services you provide.
So we provide interpreting and translation firms throughout New England, and we have some out of the state, out of the area clients. But the bulk of our clients are educational settings, so everything from school departments to adult education centers and universities. And we also have medical offices, attorneys. So we're kind of everywhere at the moment. A few municipalities.
And you went into the 10,000 Small Business Program. It's a wildly interesting, we've kind of been tracking it for years since it began, I can't remember, I'm gonna guess 5 years ago or so. And talk about the experience of going through it. It's really a tutorial to help small business leaders become better small business leaders, right?
It is. I would say it's getting an MBA on your business in 15 weeks. I think that's the best way to put it. Where MBAs are typically 2 to 3 year programs, you got 15 weeks to master this thing. It's a phenomenal experience, one that every entrepreneur should probably go through, and definitely folks that come from more minority groups should definitely go through it. I know for me, it was a rewarding experience. It built my network. It gave me aspects that I wasn't even thinking about in my business that I needed to develop and grow. And yeah, we're much more stronger now as a result.
Okay, so those things that small business people always say about programs like this is, oh my God, I can't possibly take the time out of work to go and for 15 weeks dedicate myself to this program, not just only in the program, but the other learning associated with it. What do you say to people who raise those concerns?
I think you can't afford not to do it. There are challenges to entrepreneurship that we don't know are coming, and the program prepares you for those things. Things from creating an emergency response plan, thinking through your exit strategy. Who would have thought when they asked us, what is your exit strategy? I had never thought I'd be in business the rest of my life was all I was thinking. So there, you just, it's time that is going to come back to you 100-fold if you just invest it.
And Shirley, what was the most difficult part of it? What was the biggest frustration of the program? What made you scratch your head and go, ugh, I should have stayed in the office and done work?
So, so I entered the program, and a lot of like stuff externally was happening, and so that caused a lot of stressors. But I think the program itself never challenged me in that way where I felt like I don't want to do this or I don't want to finish this. I felt like the program became more of a support system through for me during a challenging time in my business.
And then what was, you're in a cohort, as they like to call them, in a class, in a group. What was the benefit of being in that group, and the experience of working with other small business entrepreneurs? How did that work, and what was the benefit of that?
Yeah, so I'm cohort 14. Hoorah! I'm also Rhody Flavors. Rhody Flavor Imports was my group. So you're in a cohort, but then you're in a smaller group that you're working with. And I will say that not only are they my friends now, those folks that were in that room, but they're people that I check in on. We meet quarterly down at one of the restaurants that were there, that were a part of the group. We'll meet at different locations. We check in on each other. For us, staying together, or that connectedness, has created access and opportunity. And so we just continue to build together. It's the relationships are invaluable. And I would add to your question that my they give you a mentor through the program, and my mentor was able to stay on with me for a couple of months after I finished the program through the SCORE mentoring program. And she continued to work with me on my business, which was amazing.
And and what have you seen? You graduated in August, I want to say.
August.
Okay,
Hmm.
what has been the biggest impact on your business in that, whatever it is, 9 months or so, 8 months?
So our sales have grown about 30%. Um, there were changes made to the structure of the business. We have processes that are documented. A lot of the business I started, I bootstrapped the business with $25 a month. So it was, just piecing it together. And like now that everything lived in my head, but now we have documented processes and manuals. And if anything ever happens to me, the business is able to continue to flow. We now have an employee. Like we're just we've grown. We've also created a real niche for ourselves by focusing on equity. We have international interpreters and translators that work with us, and we've made a commitment to pay them at US based rates, paying for the skill versus their location, which is helping folks who were living in poverty. One person said to me, I could finally have meat every day of the week. And so it's really just given us a voice in our industry and a niche.
Shirley, talk about where you go as a firm. How big do you get, and where does it stop? Are you going to be with that kind of venture backing of $25? How big can you get?
We're a six-figure business now, multiple six-figure business now. And so the goal is to continue to grow. How big? Honestly, sky's the limit. I don't see a limit to this. I think for me, the driving factor, or the determining factor, would be how it impacts the culture. So right now, we're very familial. We're very focused on our clients. We're very focused on our subcontractors, our interpreters, and our translators. And so, if at any point they start feeling like we've gotten too big, then we have to reassess.
Shirley, last question. I'm watching it in my office. I'm catching this. I'm a small business person. The next sign up, I think, deadline is June 1st for the 10,000 small business. What do you say to those small business owners?
Listen, I spent 4 years stalking the 10KSB program because I wanted an opportunity to build a business that would leave a legacy. And it's your responsibility to leave a legacy for not just your kids or your family, but your community. So you have until June 1st. The program is hosted at CCRI, and you can apply super easy by visiting the 10ksbapply.com website. And I hope to see you there.
Shirley Moore, tremendous. Congratulations on all the success. We'll have all the links and everything in the article going up. Want to thank you and also congratulate you. As a fellow entrepreneur, we all know the rhythm of these things, the great successes and the frustrations. So I want to thank you for taking the time. I hope you can bill it to somebody, and appreciate everything you're doing. For everybody else, stay tuned. There is a tremendous amount of news going on in Rhode Island. There's a press conference this afternoon. The Rhode Island State Police on a shooting yesterday involving a number of police officers up in Woonsocket. The governor's got a press briefing. There's more questions about the 146 contract. That was $33 million over the lowest bid, and we'll have much, much more. Everybody stay tuned, stay safe. If you haven't gotten your booster shot, cases are down, deaths are down. It is time to get protected, be confident, enjoy the summer in Rhode Island. It's the best time of year. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe.